Speaking of changes, though, end of September is getting very close.
Oh yes, desperately close, Rob, and I'm really concerned that a huge number of business people are taking it too lightly, unprepared, and specifically in the issue of the GST rate change. It's perceived as being a nothing, but there are so many commercial issues over price setting that have been largely ignored. Well, I'll give you an instance. IRD tell us that there's something of the order of 650,000 businesses or entities registered for GST purposes. And 80,000 of those are going to have to go through a special forms process for the transition. Another 520,000 taxpayer GST registered businesses and other entities, clubs, charities, churches, you name it. Another 520,000 have got adjustments that they're going to have to make. So that's virtually all of the GST registered people have got work to do. And a huge number of them don't realise that. We've been briefing our customers. We're using some new online technology to run these briefings now, and we're fairly much through most of our clients, and we're actually going to run one or two sessions for non-clients if they want to register for that.
Let's put your email address up on the screen.
Well, Rob, if any business, farmer, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Any registered person, this can be done online. Last night's session, we had a customer who's in Hamilton. The night before, we had a customer went through the whole. It's about just a bit under an hour. Went through the whole thing, and they were actually in Mumbai on holiday, but due back next week. The internet is brilliant.
Isn't it an amazing thing?
Absolutely. So yes, if anyone wants to, we're not going to charge for this, but and especially not for Canterbury people, but we think it would be nice if viewers outside of Canterbury would make a donation to the Christchurch Mayor's Relief Fund, which can be done through the Red Cross. We'd really appreciate that.
But apart from a donation, if you're outside Canterbury, is this a service that you guys are providing?
We're happy to sign you into it. No problem with that at all.
It's been up on the screen.
Just flick us an email and then tell us that you want to do it. We're going to do 2 additional sessions. One will be between 12 and 1, probably Tuesday of next week, and the other one will be between 7 and 8 in the evening the following day. Haven't finalised those dates.
More than one person can come onto it, obviously.
Oh yes.
I mean, yes. Well, just in case people think, oh, do I have to book in for a time? But
probably the only restriction, of course, is that you have internet and ideally broadband. So that will rule out a few of our rural people, unfortunately.
But there's been law changes as recently as yesterday.
Oh, absolutely, Rob. Yes, and that's indicative of the complexity that people are not appreciating with this GST rate change. Parliament put through under urgency some additions, and well, in fact, we only got notification of it last night, but there's some 8 or 10 things that have been done to the GST Act to make this transition easier for the people who've got the returns to file. And for those who think it's simple, let me just say that there's going to be a new form or forms to cover the transitional period, and there's going to be a rate adjustment necessary for that 520,000 people throughout New Zealand. Now, if that's the case, it isn't going to be like it always is.
Exactly. Neville, thank you very much indeed. And that email address again is info@dodd, no S on the end of Dodd, info@dodd.co.nz. And thank you for your generosity.